everybody. This is Real Talk with Casey and JoJo. What's up, Casey?
What up, JoJo?
Look at, I like the shadow on your shirt, or I'm not sure if I do like it. I can't. Where do we put it?
Yeah, only.
Damn.
A lot of problems might have been minimized if that was the case, right?
No,
Cheers.
No. All right. So we are doing the different signs around the zodiac in a relationship. We started with Aries, the itch. We then the Taurus, stubborn and toxic habits in the relationship. We did the other side of the coin for Gemini, seeing things from both sides. And now we are coming to Cancer, the water sign, the element of water, the emotional state of being. And so we're going to talk about emotional strength. Like, we're not going to make it long. It's going to be short and sweet. It's the end of the year. There's a lot of emotions going on. In our relationship, how do you think that emotions, like, where did you get the strength to keep going? Like in our relationship, we broke up so much, and, you know, we said we were going to try to make it work. And then here we go, try to make it work. And then it would be the same habits, the same loop. Where did you get the strength to keep going?
You know, it's when our last breakup occurred, and you know, though all that unfolded, it was like, for me, I had made a promise to myself a long time ago, like 2 or 3 years prior to that, and it was like, look, you know, I'm not going to cross any line. I'm not going to do anything with, I'm not, you know, I'm just going to step away from entertaining any sort of female attention, right? And, you know, when I made that decision, it sort of strengthened me in the place that, you know, when things started unfolding, and you know, you kind of did what you did, and I had to take that, right? Like I had no choice. I mean, I'd made a commitment to not to just take it, and to just be, and to just be present, and to just deal with it and let the chips unfold. And I was waiting, honestly. It was the minute you said, I'm done, this is the direction that I'm going, that's when I would have let go. But it never happened. So, I mean, you know, for me, I wanted it to be done, man. I wanted to do everything I could after everything we've been through. I wanted to act right, be right, so that if you chose to go in a different direction, I could walk away knowing that I did everything that I did. And I didn't correct my mistakes, but I made up for them. You know what I mean? So that I can basically walk away from this situation feeling like I did everything I could possibly do to save our relationship, or to make it work.
Right. So when you were taking it, right, like you said, you felt through those emotions that you were feeling as you were taking it, correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean, there was no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, we had our moments as we were going through this, but it was essentially, there was no emotional reaction. You know, there was no like me yelling at you or fighting, because I couldn't do that, because
Right.
I essentially I essentially was dating you and having to prove myself, right? And prove to myself that I could be this person, and that I can hold this line that I promised myself I would hold. So, I mean,
You took it.
I had no choice.
Right. But you felt it as well.
Like, yeah, I mean, I had to.
You didn't, did you suppress some of it, or did you feel through all of it?
Oh no, I, like, you know, I mean, it's, there was nights where, yeah, I mean, I didn't sleep, and I, you know, like, I would sob, you know what I mean? Like, God, why? You know, I mean, that I mean, it wasn't all the time, but I mean, it would come and go. So yeah, I mean, there was no, the difference is that this time I could not, there was nothing for me to lash out to. I could not lash out to you. I could not get angry and do all these things, because I had lost the right to do that, right? Like, that privilege was gone, right? Like, I was on call. I had to step into this person and be this person in order to, quote unquote, you know, win you back, if you will. And that's what gave me the emotional strength. But yeah, I had to feel everything, and I had to just deal with it. I mean, bro, there were nights, I mean, if you had told me 10 years ago that I would be sitting on the front porch of our house waiting on you to come home from another man's house, like I would have been like, what? I mean, like we fought, like you moved out over like minuscule things, minuscule compared to that. And there I was. And I just had to sit there and be patient and just deal with it.
Right. A lot of people might wonder, like, how in the world, like, what? Why would you deal with that? But, going back to the diaries I've been reading of our timeline here, of our life and our relationship, the amount of back and forth and stuff we did to each other was numbing.
Yeah.
Like I was reading through that going, how can I how could I sit there and take it and take it and take it? But it was this like love for you and this whole, you know, we put so many, like you said the other day about the house, how you build a house and you have all these dreams with that house. It's like I had all these dreams with you. I had all these goals of having children with you, of the amazing stuff before the shit happened. And then you look at that and you're like, well, wait, I can't let that go. If I let that go, I let everything go, everything shatters. Like, can I still hold on? And I remember going, why am I going through this? There has to be a reason. I don't understand, but there's a reason. And you like bask in it, and it's like, here just comes another day. Like, here I go living another day. And just, it reminds me of that movie with is it Sleepless in Seattle? How he says that you just
Yeah.
have to breathe, and you just have to find the way to go on and continue. And it's kind of like that your heart is broken, things are numb, you don't see a way out, and it's like you get hit again and you get knocked down. Where do you get the emotional strength to get back up?
It's a good.
Love, right? Like, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of that would make hope, right? Hope, love, and hope that maybe things would get better, because that's really all we had. Every time we would move from apartment to apartment, hey, we get to start over. Let's hope this time it works, right? And then we go from apartment, it's like, okay, we got to stop this apartment hopping stuff and we got to go to a house. We go to a house. It's a villa. 3-bedroom. It's now something bigger. We can now have kids. And then this is our chance. We can start over. I remember my scrapbook. It was, here's another chance to start over. Here's another chance to start over. And I'm like, bro, I mean, are we really starting over? Or are we just doing the same cycle again over and over and over, not really starting over?
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think that, what does that mean to start over? I mean, you just don't simply change locations and then expect your behaviors and your ego and, your issues to just, change and just to go away, just to
Right.
melt. It just doesn't work that way, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's love. I mean, for sure. I mean, it's crazy, man, because like as much as I think I told myself, it's like I'm just not in love with you anymore like that, right? But all it was is it was being fed up, right? And just being so tired,
It
right?
was easier to say that than to try.
Right. It was, yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, in the emotional strength, it's weird, man, because like I always felt like our story was weird and just super weird. And
Yeah.
and I know there's couples out there, and it's like, you find out, your husband's cheating on you, or maybe there's, physical abuse, because we had physical abuse in our relationship, and it
Emotional
was emotional abuse,
abuse.
every fucking type of abuse. um but yet, we're here, right?
It was dysfunctional.
And in a lot of ways, man, I wonder sometimes if, again, I don't, forgive me if I'm saying this, but I wonder sometimes if a lot of times, like, the people that struggle with things are the most, are the ones that love each other the most, but they just can't get past out of their own way.
Right. They
You
have
know
a
what I
hard
mean?
time letting go of their old selves.
Right. Like, you can't, like, the love that you have for that person is so strong that you would allow yourself to be disrespected, that you would allow yourself to be abused and just manipulated, and just treated like shit. and it's crazy because as the person that's doing that to you, like, how can I love you if I'm doing those things? But I'm so like lost within my own self that I can't even get to loving you because I don't even know how to love myself.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what I was going to say, because a lot of times people have this expectation, right? We talked about expectations in the last one, and it's based on the amount or the capacity to love. But yet, if that person doesn't love themselves that much, you can't expect them to love you with that same amount of love, right? So it's
Right.
like, how much baggage are you carrying? Are you like, is weighing you down with this crap that doesn't even allow you to be who you truly are, and that's what we're fighting against each other, is our
Right.
own crap and baggage and bullshit. It's like our egos are the ones fighting, right? It's just
Yeah.
our old selves fighting, and we're trying to get to who we really are. A lot of people just quit, right? They just quit. They don't want to dig deep and change. It's a deep transformation of self, man.
Yeah, and I think that too, again, kind of back to that, is that, when someone causes you to be your absolute worst, and I know this is so like counterintuitive, but just this, I only know my experience and I only know our path, right? But I feel like everybody's experience is generated from the same thing, right? In terms of the root,
Right.
like the root is all the same for all of us. It's, it's just varied in terms of degree. But it's like, when I fucking lost my train of thought. This happens every time I get a deep thought. It just flutters away
Like a butterfly.
like a butterfly. What was the last thing you said?
Oof.
My point is that, people that love the hardest are the people that you fight with the most, right? And it was like, for us, we were the same in so many different ways. You know what I mean? Like when we weren't fighting, it was amazing. Like, you can't fake the touch of someone, right? Like when you touch another person and they just like, you just mesh, you know what I'm saying? Like that was still there. That never went away. And I think at the root of it, like we've talked about this before, that when you see someone, like when you're in love with someone and you see them, like you truly see them, like soul to soul, like you see that soul, and you can't ever let go of that one. When you see that other person, that's what you fall, like that's not where I think we, our ability to fight through this came from, is like soul to soul connection. Like, I know who you are, I know what you can be, right? And that was a lot of it too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know what you can be, I know the skills that you
We
have, I
saw
know
each other's
how.
potential.
Yeah, you see each other's potential. And I mean, I know for me, when that shit happened, I'm like, yo, there's no damn way. I've come too far. Like I have molded you too much to allow someone else to step in and basically take advantage of my handiwork. Fuck that shit, right? Like, I'm not
Yeah.
letting that happen. So I mean, it was almost as if my ego flipped the script a little bit, and ego stepped in a good way, as in, no, this is mine. Like, no, we're gonna fight for this emotionally, right? Like, energetically, let's go, let's battle, let's see who wins. So I mean, for me, a lot of it was that too.
Yeah, because it was like through the test of time. I remember we were back and forth, right? Like, separated and whatnot, but still seeing each other, still traveling. And that's when we drove from Arizona to Colorado, and you were like, you're gonna be a doctor with this dude. Remember? You were like, no.
No.
You remember though, right?
Yeah, and of course, yeah,
Oh, okay.
and it's funny, man, because like thinking back on it, um, you, like, you're confused, right? Like you're confused. I just need to help you see clearly,
And you knew that because you had been at that point where you were confused.
yeah, for sure. And I think too, like, and this is where the slope, it gets so slippery, man, because it's like, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know to fight for the other person? When is enough enough? When do you draw the line? And I don't think anybody can answer that but you, right? Like, you and God have to come to some sort of agreement and understanding and figure that shit out. I don't think anybody can tell you that, right? Because people people think we're dumb as shit for still being together after everything we've been through. But that's, I don't give a shit, because I know what we have, and I know what it took to get here, and I know the amount of healing that has occurred.
It's
Right.
like, oh, I don't want to climb Mount Everest because it takes whatever, but it's like you're at the top and the fucking, like, it's worth it when once you see the
Right. And I knew,
everything.
you know your issues as an individual. You know what you need to fix. You know if you're an asshole, if you know you're condescending, if you're, bitchy, you know all these things. You know what you need to do to change. And the for me, and for us too, is I think that no matter what you do, right, you're gonna have the same issue with somebody else. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of freaking time, right? And it's like, being with you since you were 16, 19, having two kids, like everything that we wanted, we created under the shittiest of circumstances. And it's like, what if we could fix this? If we could get right, if we could, just walk through the fire and come out on top. And you do that together through commitment. Why are you looking at me that way? You do that through commitment, but you also, it's a journey that you have to take on your own. Only you can figure this shit out, right? Like your spouse cannot fix you. You cannot fix your spouse. Like I had to fix my shit in order to quote unquote win her back. But I created that shit. I created that problem because unfortunately, me being a stubborn mule, that's what it took for me to go, okay, enough's enough. I'm going to rise up and claim my everything, and nobody's taking it from me. Right. But you got to fix yourself. I mean, it's on you. It's on you as the individual. I don't give a shit where you at in your relationship. It's on you as an individual to fix yourself.
And I think the emotional strength is going to be there regardless, right? Like you said, like you're either going to have that strength to continue, or you're going to have that strength to overcome whatever it was that you ended. But regardless, you're still going to have some type of strength. So what do you want at the end, like to fight for? Do you want to fight to, I mean, because not everybody should stay with the person that they're with,
No,
right?
no.
A lot of times it's just really, it's a mistake, and or
Yeah.
is there to teach you a certain lesson, and you grow from it, and you have soulmates, and you have reasons and seasons, etc. But come on, when you know,
Right. Like this isn't for, man. I mean, if enough is never enough, then you know what we're saying.
yeah,
Right. Like
that's the whole twin flame relationship,
yeah,
really.
if enough is never enough, then and if like I said, man, you change yourself, everything around you will fall into place. If they end up leaving, then you did your best, right? You did your best and you fulfilled your end of the bargain. Because I know for me, it was like, if this is it, and she chooses to go on a different path, it's not going to be because I did all this shitty shit up until this point. It's going to be because I stood tall and took every punch you gave me. And at the end of the day, you ain't knocked me down. I wish you the best, but I'm going to be a better person regardless of the outcome. And for me, that was the emotional strength, because it's about, at the end of the day, it's about me being the best version of me.
Standing tall in your alignment.
Right. And again, that doesn't, there was a lot of times that I felt like she disrespected me. I still voiced that, I'm like, yo, you can't do this. Come on, man. You can't come home at 4 a.m. like this. If this is the arrangement, like, come on, dude. And, but I did not have the power to demand it. I just voiced what I felt like was not right. And I just sit there and, she responded, but it was cool for us, I think, because like it created, we had fought so much. Like our fights were just like epic. Like 4 hours of talking about the same thing 16,000 different ways, and I'm sure you guys know what we're talking about. You experienced the same thing. But like our fights were amazing. I couldn't fight anymore with her because I wasn't in that position. So it was almost like I was self-regulated with the situation I had created with all my choices. And it's amazing to think about in those terms, right?
Right.
But I mean, I think it works that way with a lot of people. Like you create your own environment so that you can step into the best version of you and fix it, but you have to be willing to step into it. But long story short, that was my emotional strength. That was where I got my strength from.
Nice.
You clapping like that? Is that condescending?
Not at all.
Okay. Well, what about, we gonna talk about your emotional strength?
No,
Or
because it's no. Yeah.
we can come back and talk about it. You
No.
take two.
I think that's good.
Joanna tired. She had a long day.
It's been a long day, and
She
I
done
think
like
that's
18
good.
podcasts, 16 readings.
It's the end of the year, 2022 readings
Petted the
up in
Jaguar.
here. Yeah, so
The Black Panther, sorry.
the Black Panther. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about emotional strength, Cancer, the emotional being, the emotional nature. Cancer also, like the sun, also notices that it's at its peak. It is at its peak, right? And it eventually is going to fall back down around the Mazzaroth. So we're going to continue on with every sign. The next one is Leo. And so we're going to talk a lot of about stuff like that. Yeah, Leo related.
Leo.
You
All
know,
you Leos know. They're like, yay,
yay,
I'm gonna watch that one, Leo. It's about me.
It's about me. So that's when we'll get into me next episodes. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, man, I feel like I monopolized the whole conversation. You didn't say
Not at
much.
all.
All right.
Peace
Cool.
out.